don't forget, like, subscribe and share. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers this year, and we are on the 18th of September, so we're slowly running out of time. So before you do anything else, listen to me dribbling on for however long this video goes on for, please hit the subscribe button, because I want to hit 1,000 subscribers this year. Anyway, now we've got all that waffle out of the way, let's get back to where we were. So since the last video, I've done a bit more stripping. I've taken the tank off. That was fun, trying to get to these bolts. I've had to strip the back end out to get to the bolts to take that tank side off. So we've come to the conclusion now, after 2 weeks, well, I don't know how many days, a week, 2 weeks of soaking it, trying it with the bar, soaking it, trying it with the bar, nothing. It's sea solid. So I've pulled the trigger, and this has arrived yesterday. Nice new, well, it's not new, second hand, new to us, new to me, D905. So yeah, we can get that in. I've just, while I'm stood here video, and I've just noticed that says on that sticker 1500 RPM. I think we're going to need more than that, so we might have to do something with the pump. But anyway, I don't know, we'll look back, we'll get to that at some point. So today's job is get this top stripped off and get this engine and pump out. That's today's job. I'm hoping it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't look too difficult. It's a matter, well, I've stripped off the alternator and the start motor, just see if they will work. The alternator, I've managed to get it unseasoned, turning nicely, but it won't produce any power, which is obvious because it's mounted. And the starter motor, it's mounted on the outside, but still works. So that's the spare one. So we've got 4 bolts this side, 4 bolts that side, and then 2 engine mounts, and then all the pipes and wiring and what's left of the wiring. As you can see, there's not a lot. Also want to get this panel off today and get this stripped out today. So yeah, we'll see. Right, so where were we before we rudely interrupted by my phone call? Waffling on about this. Yeah. Now I'm lost again. Things have got to change on that engine to go on this engine to go on that engine manifold, because the manifold on the other engine is facing upwards, this is facing outwards. That could be fun. As I was on the phone, the parts list, all the parts I require, I think, have come through. I don't know how they make these prices up for these parts. That little, whether you can see it in there, that little coil there, £595. The pipe that comes, this is a rubber hose that comes from here to here, which is where the airbox sits, 150 quid. The pipe that comes from the bottom of that diesel tank comes up round the back of the radiator and up to here, 80 quid. Where do they get these prices from? It's extortionate for what they are. But then, as we said, that's like 600 quid, that coil, but then that coil there, 14 quid. What? I swear I reckon they just had the part and go, oh, we'll go on a random number generator and just press the button, and whatever number comes up, that's how much we charge for it. It's ridiculous. Anyway, instead of me waffling like I always do and ranting and moaning, we'll get on and do some work. I will probably set you up on a time lapse maybe, or I might just do a bit and then kick back into the video, see how we feel. Right, so we're back. I've done a little bit, not a lot. Pulled that panel off, and let's expose the wiring. I've had this panel off. All the wiring is good under here. The only thing that has melted is the hour meter, but that's just the face. The back of it's fine. All the wiring in there is good. I think it's not burnt anyway. We don't know whether we haven't tested it, so we don't know whether it is good, but it's not burnt. Managed to get the bolts off the exhaust. Started taking that out. All the wiring's off the engine this side. Taking the top off. So I'm going to pull the wiring harness out now, and then start disconnecting pipes and engine mounts, and then we can get that lifted out then and get the two engines side by side and see what needs swapping over from this engine to the other engine. Because I just noticed that this engine has got a pump, another hydraulic pump down there, which that one hasn't. So I'm wondering whether how that works, whether we've got to have the timing case off, whether it runs off timing or whether it runs off the back of the pump. I don't know how it works, but we'll sort it out anyway. We'll have a look when we've got it out. Right, way the wiring harness goes then. So we have two plugs which connect into the top center console, come down and splits into two. You have one coming this side, which then is clamped on there, which has also got two hydraulic pipes on it, which both go to the tip and gear spool block. And you've got two there that come, and this is all engine side. So we've got alternator, starter motor, coolant temperature, oil pressure sensor. That is that side. And then we have, then that comes off there, comes into here and does everything it needs to do this side. So we've got stop in there, and then that wiring goes through and into the back. That's for all the lights and your seat sensor and everything. That's your earth lead that goes into your isolator, which sits about here. And then there's another one that comes back around this way, which also feeds. Sorry, that's your battery. That's your live, which then comes around and feeds the start motor. This video is more for me than anything else, just so I can remember how things go. And then you've got splice off that top one, which goes to that coil, and then splice off that one, which then goes down to the world's most expensive coil at £600. So yeah, so we'll get that all removed, and this will remind me how to put it back together if need be. Pipes then. This one on the bottom of that T comes around and goes down into there, and this one that I've just taken off comes round from there, goes into there. Then this big one is obviously the main one for that one down there. That one, the bottom one, goes to the pump on the bottom of the engine, and this one I'm not going to undo because that's fine. That goes to down there, that brake chamber. I think that's all I need to video. Right, so at the top of the pump then, that pipe comes out and goes into there, which I'm not going to take out. Those two pipes, they should be pretty straightforward. That is that. I think there might be some underneath I've got to disconnect, but I'll have a look. Right, now we're underneath then. So the two pipes on the bottom of the pump, one comes round and goes into that wheel motor, and the other one comes round and goes into the opposite wheel motor. So opposites. Right, everything is disconnected now, I think. All the pipes there, all the cables, the wiring harness is now out. Looks like you pulled the central nervous system out of, like a spine out of something, isn't it? So that's all out. So now we're going to try and lift the engine out. So we'll set you up on the digger and see if we can see if we can get the engine out, hopefully without doing too much damage. or any damage of that, in that fact. Well, it's out, and I think it's safe to say the other engine will be going back in a lot more carefully and gently. That was a bit caveman, that was. Right, so there she is. To be fair, I wasn't expecting the exhaust to come out with it. I thought that was mounted on the actual machine, but it's not. It's actually mounted on this front radiator frame. Got the pump and everything is here. It's got 2 solenoids, which, yeah, that's definitely seen better days. I'm glad they're the £14 ones. I'm just hoping that the other one, the £600 one, is okay. But yeah, there she is. So we'll see. Right, well, I suppose I better get a pallet. I've had to cut that bolt off because I'd got no chance of getting that undone. So all the way back to the workshop to go and get the grinder, because the yard and the workshop are 2 different places. So it is a right pain in the arse sometimes when you haven't got the right tools. You have to go back and forth, back and forth. Anyway, she's out. Let's go and have a look at what's left inside. Yeah, so that's the inside of it. I'll give it a good clean out, but nice. Small this. Well, that's clumps of mud, or whether it's plastic or a mixture of both. I think it's mostly mud with it. I think before we put the other engine back in, we'll get all this pressure washed out, I think. Part of the engine mount for this side. For that side? Yes, that side. I'll stick that bolt back in so it don't get lost. That engine mount's alright. That one is non-existent. Again, this will want painting. Cleaning and painting before it goes back in. And same again with that one. That one's melted through. It's making it much easier to get all the nuts and bolts I've dropped now. Bits and bobs. Ah, that looks like a core plug. It's a washer. Wonder where that's come from. Yeah, we'll get all that cleaned out. Nice. But yeah, now I'm going to have to clean my hand now before I can press the stop record button. I don't want to get my camera dirty, do I? Now, put that on. I think the first job then is get that back box off, or at least that exhaust system, because they ain't never going to come undone nicely, are they? I've got all them undone. So 13mm there, 13mm on this side, that side. That exhaust system should come off then. That will then allow me to just drop it onto the, put the engine on the pallet then, so I can park the digger back up. And then rad pack off. Yeah, rad pack off. Anything we want off that engine off, pump off, all the bow housings off, all the bow housing bolts off and pump off, and then we'll get that one uncovered and see what we need to swap over. I know we definitely need to swap manifold over. I've also found this hydraulic pump, which that other engine hasn't got. So that needs to be swapped over. Yes. So that needs doing.